least I hope most of this is being edited. If it isn't, I'll have to have words with my editor. So this is what we had last time, right? Done a little bit of sanding. When you cast things, they tend to come out kind of shiny. I like to sand until that shine is gone if I'm priming. It looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. It's definitely durable. It's much heavier than any chest box I've worn. I think we're ready for priming. So at this point, I'm just going to prime it with some Rust-Oleum Light Gray Primer. And then I'm going to paint it with this. The 2x stuff. I hate 2x stuff. Paint and primer. I don't want paint and primer, I want paint. I have primer that does priming. I just want paint. But the color, just a little darker. And this is a little more accurate. So I'm going to prime it first, and then I'm going to paint it. You don't need to see that. Luckily, it's like 1200 degrees out. It's really, really hot, which means my paint is going to dry pretty quick. It's the only good thing about it right now. But it is what it is. So I'm going to prime, paint. We'll see you in a second. That does not look like gray. Grab my can. Gave it a good shake. Someone put the wrong lid on it. So I thought I had blue acrylic. I don't, so I'm using white. This is Hips, just 1 inch by 1 inch. I cut it on my laser cutter. And this thing, resin mold I made. It's a water bottle cap and the top of an X-Acto. I may do metal at some point in time. Right now I'm just doing plastic and it's just been painted silver. One button getting gray, 2 tabs are getting blue, and we should be about ready to put everything together. So I mocked it up to see how it's going to look. Super happy with it. It's going to be neat. Now there's a black square that goes right here, a little notch out, and then I want to paint the inside here black. The problem with that, there's a little divot in here, right where the mold ripped out a little bit. So I'm going to Dremel that out first, then I'm going to tape everything off. This has had plenty of time to dry. I gave it a couple of days, and then I hit it with clear. So I don't really have to worry about the tape pulling anything off. I have reference just off screen, by the way. I'll periodically just glance over and stare. That's what I'm looking at. I'm very happy with how this is turning out. It's going to take a while. I'm going to pull tape, put tape back on until I'm happy with it. So this hole doesn't necessarily need to be painted black. I'm only doing it just in case, I don't know, something gets weird. Light shines through, or I don't even know. There's no reason to do it. I feel like it's the right thing to do. If any of it does happen to be seen, I'd rather it be seen as a dark shadow line as opposed to white resin. Speaking of my reference, I'm going to pull up a couple bigger pictures. I'll be right back. So I have no idea when the camera died on me. None. But I've taped off the square that needs to be painted black and then the hole so I can have everything together. I'm going to start by painting both of these black and then we'll get back to where we're at after that. Here we are. Alright, ready to peel some tape. I'm a little worried that it's going to... I'd do a couple layers because in my infinite wisdom I cleared this and then tried to paint on top of it. So that did not turn out as well as I had hoped. It all split when the primer that I put on top tried to dry. It coalesced. Everything slid in together and it cracked. A little sticky. That's gonna go away as soon as we clear it. That's one line, nice and neat. So there's a little bit of the little kick out. Just got tore. So I'll have to carefully peel that one up. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not perfect, but not bad. I'm gonna peel this up, pull the rest of the tape, and we'll see where we're at. That turned out awesome. I am way happier with that than I thought I would be. Yeah, there's still a weird little texture there. It's from the clear. I'll be able to, once I clear over the whole thing, that'll go away. It was right about there. That looks pretty alright. I am very happy with that. I could not find my pinstriping, so I had to order some. That's about where we're going to be. I've got reference up. So this little pinstriping tape, it gets put on and then cleared in place. Now I'm not worried about being perfect here. These things in the movie, they're all kinds of funky. And to say shoestring budget was a kind of insult to shoestrings. I am using a hot glue gun for this, primarily because I'm going to put clear down on top of it, and the clear should hold everything in place. Like I said, these things are not even in the movies. It's all just a little off here and a little off there. I've thought about 45ing these so it's all nice and smooth and neat. And then I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to do that. Again, once I clear everything, all going to look relatively uniform. So I thought about Corelliing this one, right? Setting it up so it's all greens and grays like I normally do for my Corellia stuff. My Compad's Corellian color schemed. I was like, nah. I might for Kim's, because I'm probably going to end up making her another one. That way she has one for her orange and one for her green. That looks about right. So I want this square to be the same size and roughly in line with the other one. This looks like a chalkboard to me. That makes me laugh. This is where my lack of exact 90 degrees is going to come back to bite me. This is going to look a little off. I'm alright with that. This wasn't a washer, by the way, in the movie. I think it was a white paper. They're those things you put on hole punches to reinforce them. It's a little white piece of paper with a hole in the middle. I think that's what that was. But everybody uses washers, so I'm going to use a washer because metal part equal better than non-metal part. This goes right there, way closer to the edge than I would like. And this goes right about there. Hot. There are also supposed to be a couple white squares up on top. I don't have those. I'm probably not going to do those. I'm okay with that. I'm going to take the whole thing out, pull this hot glue out, and then clear the whole thing. It's been cleared. This came out awesome. I absolutely love how this looks. I'm happy with this. Next step is to do the nylon webbing, which was conveniently misplaced. It's going to be one of those days. So I purposely picked up this webbing just for this project. Where are my buckles? So these stupid buckles, annoying to find. But it's alright. We'll make it work. Because that is what we do, right? I'm completely unorganized today. I need to have a lighter. I'll be right back. Nothing prepped today. Nothing ready to go. Just idiot stands in front of a camera. I'm not a big fan of self-deprivation. I kind of shy away from calling myself names because it doesn't help anybody, least of all me. And it's a bad example for my child to hear their father ridiculing themselves. So I try not to. Most of what I do is to try and be a good example to my child. Doesn't work very well, but you know, we got to have goals. A goal is a goal. A toll is a toll. So all I'm doing is sewing the strap onto the buckle. We'll deal with everything else. Wasn't the last one to use this machine and has the wrong foot on it. Like I said, it's been one of those weeks, man. Project that should have taken a couple of days. It's taken an extremely long amount of time. Why? I don't know. That's why. Just every time I turn around, another thing I forgot to do. And it's all me doing it to myself. I got no one else to blame. Nor should we. Always take the blame yourself. If you put blame on someone else, then there's no way to fix it. I always take the blame. Don't know if I like how that looks. I mean, it looks fine. I don't know if it's fully sealed. So it looks like there's... I'm going to go over it again. That should be almost all of the sewing for this. It's not for the fun part. Looping everything through and around and in. Because this goes through here. And then through there. And my neck. And back. It's much easier to do on someone else. I probably should have looped everything through, put it on, and then measured it, but there. So I'll say right about here. This should be way too much. Rather have way too much than not enough. It's nylon, so I'm of course melting the ends to fuse them all together, and so it doesn't unravel. If I have to rethread this afterwards because I put it in the wrong way, it's not a big deal. So I do it this way because this makes one. I've got some fiber mesh sticking up I really don't like. I'm going to sand that down real quick because I don't want to mess with my costumes. I test fit it. I'm pretty happy with this here. And I put a mark where these two pieces cross over, right? Because this is actually super complicated to do on your own. Which is why Kim's has a snap. I have to decide whether I want to put a snap in mine or not. So if I put a snap in, I can completely dress myself on my own. I would sew this closed and then put a snap right here. Let's grab them. Let's see. Let's see. If not, I'm just gonna, cut it here so I have a little extra room and just ask for help when I get dressed. I do not believe it will. Maybe. I could probably bend this so it would. We got enough room. No. I'm just going to cut it and be done. That's it. I think we're done. We'll put all this stuff away and we'll do final thoughts, conclusions, and all that jazz. I was mistaken. Almost forgot the hose. So on Luke's, it attaches like right here. I'm gonna have to heat this just to make it super pliable. This is dishwasher drain hose. I picked it up at big box stores. Pretty easy. There's nothing special about it. There's like 7 different styles in A New Hope. I believe every chest box had something a little different. Lucas wears 3 different ones throughout the filming of it. And then his promotion shots are different as well. So there isn't really a right hose. But it does come to about here. There are, looks like there's a fitting on the end. I'll probably just end up 3D printing something and attaching it. Most people just stuff it behind their belts. I know people who have chunks of metal and a magnet. You know, because if this is permanently attached, it's super annoying. Because yeah, you don't have much option. So more than likely, I'm just gonna glue this and then just leave this here. Let the heat of the day take care of it, because there's plenty. So this is it. It's done. It looks fantastic. I'm very, very, very happy with it. It's not a glamorous part. It doesn't light up. It doesn't do anything special. It's not super flashy. It's just part of the costume. But it does finish the costume completely. So that completes the whole X-Wing costume for me. We haven't done flak vests yet because I hate them. I hate them very, very much. It's not difficult. It's just tedious. It's one of those. Every stitch is a stitch, and it takes forever. It doesn't really take forever. It's not that bad, actually. I just don't want to. I keep putting it off. It was on the list when I started. I was going to go jumpsuit, flak vest, you know, webbing, and yeah. I have since moved it to the end of the list. Constantly. But, turned out fantastic. I'm super happy with it. Would the 3D print have worked? Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to finish the first one I did that's a little smaller for Faith. Would work perfect. Did I have to mold it? No. No, I didn't. Am I glad I did? Yeah. So to do the 3D print would have cost me 20 bucks, maybe, when everything was said and done. This probably cost me 150. But I can make a bunch of them for considerably less. I like it. I overdid it. I always overdo it. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, but then we're going to do a run of pilots soon. And a bunch of my base is going to show up. We're all going to do pilots together. And we're going to have, you know, it doesn't happen like that. I make one, maybe two, here and there. And that's okay. And so is this. I like the fact that I could knock these off and put on metal if I wanted. The clear coat holds everything in place. It's got a nice sheen to it. I really do like it. As soon as we're done here, I'm probably going to go in and take submission photos for my pilot, now that it's 100%. My base calls our pilots outlaws. It'll be nice to be an outlaw again. I'm happy with it. It looks good. If you're happy with it, and this is your thing, like, subscribe, share, you know, do the whole deal. And if not, thanks for making it to the end. Hope I see you next week.